two, and a one. All right, so now we're going to do the megas because Mega Pluses already took an hour. I'm imagining this is going to take two, so we'll see. We're going to start with the hybrids, the unofficial megas. Emperor Greymon is actually going to be, and remember, I classify these things as S tier being centralizes the game bot around itself, A tier meaning it's above average, B tier is average, C tier is below average, and D tier is trash. So this one is going to be an S tier. Emperor Greymon is just phenomenal. Power of Dragons is just a great move. It's super effective against the final boss. Fire Drake Strike, not as much, but it's still a good move. But yeah, Power of Dragons is just really, really freaking good. And it's the only setter for ground, which kind of makes it a necessary Digimon, even more so than its evolution, Susanomon. MagnaGarurumon. Okay, so this Digimon comes with two forms, but it can only slide one way. Meaning, once you use Machine Gun Destroyer, you will slide Digivolve into the SV form, the detached form, but it doesn't slide backwards, which means that you will, no matter what, once you decide to use your special skill, which doesn't even hit all that hard, but it does have a decent typing because it's anti-machine, but it's only got extra 10% crit rate. It's 75% at all enemies. It's an okay move for a mega, but it's not all that great. Yeah, it's okay, but it's not all that great. And to have to go up your form and immediately go and become a light type with arguably worse stats overall, and then its move is like what, one enemy's 85 power, boost your speed, which who cares? Ancient trait, which who cares again? And then it's light, which is really a big who cares because light is the worst. It's the worst what you call in the game, worst element in the game. I guess it's okay if you're going up against the 7 Demon Lords. I always forget that part when I'm describing light, but the 7 Demon Lords are not a big threat. So I guess it's okay if you're going up against the DLC final boss, but that's only one enemy. So the first DLC final boss is only one enemy. So it's a struggle to overcome, but it's not. I don't know. I would have to, because I was already maxed out when I faced it. I don't feel like it's a big enough threat to warrant this. I think they should have done more with this. I think it's a cool idea to detach, but it should have had more than what it has. So I think I'm ranking this. I have to rank it a D. I think I have to rank it a D, which kind of makes sense as to how I think I ranked Susanomon a B, and then yeah, I think that's about right. This is trash. KaiserGreymon is amazing, and then Susanomon, which is a combination of the two, is just meh. It's mid average. Okay. Which it sucks because I really wanted this to be great. I really like this Digimon. It's one of my favorite Digimon. It's just not good. Alright, let's get to the actual megas, the ones that say mega in their name. Okay, so Apollomon, it's got immunity to fire and to light. Double immunities are always great. Soul Blaster, I've never actually used this guy in battle, so I'm learning about this as I'm talking. Immortal trait, all enemies 60, that's okay. Again, Immortal is irrelevant. Aquatic trait is relevant, but and then the lower the HP, the greater the damage. I like that ability actually. I like that. That could go really good with Steadfast. Was it Steadfast? Yeah, Steadfast Might. That could be really go really good with Steadfast Might. It doesn't set or anything. I can't give an S, I don't think, but I could easily. And it only has one, one element, but it's a decent element. Fire's a decent element to have. I'll give it an A tier. It's pretty good. It's vaccine, which is relevant. And it's got 2 immunities. Yeah, it's definitely A tier, probably a high A tier. Alright, Alphamon, Blade of the Dragon King. That Axe First Next Rhino is just so relevant for the point in which you get it during the game. Night trait is relevant for beating up the Royal Knights. Unknown trait is relevant against the first DLC boss. This guy's just good all around. Light is relevant against the 7 Demon Lords and against the first DLC final boss. It doesn't have anything good against the actual game's final boss, and it does come with 3 weaknesses. Um, it's still a vaccine though. And those weaknesses are actually pretty bad. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, fire is weak to Apollomon. Ice is super weak to Durandamon because she's also data. Steel is weak to the well, I don't know if that guy's elemental. Oh, fire is also weak to the what you call it. You first get Meg's roundabout when you fight against the Dr. Kuga, and he uses fire moves. So yeah, that's not great. Um, yeah, there's a lot going against Alphamon just in terms of simple stuff. Um, and wind and ground resistance aren't really helping you out at that point in the game, the point where Meg is irrelevant. But if you stick it through with him and you get to a certain point towards the end of the game where you get into the what you call it, the Akashic records, that's where he starts showing out. But at that point, you'll actually be able to evolve him anyway. So I think he kind of just misses the bus here a lot. Um, but then he is a vaccine that isn't weak to dark, that isn't weak to light either. That can be relevant against Junomon, who is the hardest fight in the game. And on top of that, she is weak to null, and I think part of her is weak to light as well. I think those are actually the perfect two. Let me double check. What are her 2 weaknesses? Because I know she has her core form and her other form, her lance form and her regular form. This is actually highly relevant to how I'm rating, so I want to make sure I get this right. All right, Junomon Hysteric Mode. While charging, her lances are weak to ice and null, so that becomes very good. And again, it hits all enemies, so that's really good. Um, very weak to holy normally. Yeah, no, he's goaded against her. Yeah, and he's not weak to dark or light, which is really good against her. He's not resistant either, but you can only get so much. Like your steak can only be so juicy, right? So I want to give him an A, but that Dianamon and Apollomon fight is rough. The loaded, the power loader fight against Dr. Kuga is also rough. Those are all just direct counters to him. Um, yeah, and the cosmics are also direct counters to him, like because all those Digimon are using fire or ice moves, except for the ones that use ground moves like GeoGreymon and Meteormon. But this is a tough one. He really sucks at one point, and then he gets really good against a specific. Once he hits Junomon, he's out on a stride because Junomon, then the 7. You can choose to, if you don't do all the side quests, go straight to the 7, and you can also choose to do the 7 Demon Lords, and you can also choose to do a DLC final boss if you want to. He's got spots. I would say he's okay on your kit. But by the time he's getting good, you really want to be evolving him soon after that. So I would say that one Junomon fight is really, really bad though. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's the hardest fight in the game. And being such a good Digimon in that one fight might be worth bumping him up compared to just saying, well, he sucks in other fights, so he can't be bumped up. This is a hard choice, guys. It's a really hard choice, because it's so situational. You cannot rely on him as an early mega. Like if he's your first mega, he's going to let you down, and he's going to let you down again, and he's going to let you down again. But once you get to Junomon, he's going to be able to do something. The context is very serious there, because if I say, oh yeah, he's A tier, he's above average. Is he though? I don't think he's above average just because he has a very good matchup against the hardest boss in the game. If he sucks so bad against the 3 bosses preceding that boss. So I'm going to give him a B tier. To be honest and true, the Junomon fight saves him. And the 7 Demon Lords, if you choose not to do all the side quests before that, that saves him. DLC saves him. Honestly, you should be you should be going to Alphamon, or you can buy then anyway. But yeah, it's really the Junomon fight that saves him from being. But he could have been D tier, honestly. He could have been trash. That Junomon fight gets him those 2 points to go from D tier to B tier and saves him and makes him average. He should be in the trash tier. It is the performance in the Junomon fight that saves him. Theoretical performance, I should say, because I never used him in Junomon's fight. But just looking at him, he does well there. He would do well there. There's no reason he can't. All right, I spent way too long on Alphamon, but he deserved it. He is the leader of the Royal Knights, right? All right, UlForceVeedramon, another Royal Knight, cool. So vaccine, light move, puppet trait. I don't know what has a puppet trait that's relevant. Physical attack. Oh my god, that is a really good move. Yeah, 20% reduction to accuracy for 3 turns is just really nice. And always hits really nice. Okay, even though it's light, it's really nice. I like that. And against some of the Demon Lords, they do have like mobs, like extra enemies that pop in, so that can be really good too. So he's good against the Demon Lords, but again, well, he doesn't evolve, right? Let me check. Yeah, he can't evolve. So they haven't given him a future mode, so he would be your used Digimon during that process. Victory Sword, Wind, Warrior. Warrior doesn't matter. The 15% crit rate is relevant. That's a pretty decent crit rate. Multiple hits means that you might get it natively without having to increase your crit any other ways. 90 damage plus 15% crit could easily buff that to like 100. Yeah, it's solid. It's solid. It's solid. Yeah. I want to say it's at least A tier. It's at least A tier. I just don't know if the so I didn't use him heavily, so I don't know for myself if this move's accuracy drop makes him really, really, really good against a lot of things. I know from using buffs to evasion that being able to dodge hits is just super good. And this is just like, it does damage on top of debuffing all enemies, which means that all your allies get simulated evasion up. I almost want to say this is S tier just based off the strength of that. Yeah, let's call it S tier. This is S tier just based off the strength of that. I'm gonna keep it real. Just based off the strength of this move, this Digimon is S tier. This is a really good ability to have. It's just stupidly good. And then this is a good damage move. Like it's not really. It's got 2 skills. They are of different. They are different elements. One of these elements is kind of meh, but the other element is good enough. And then yeah, this is actually, I think this is low-key goated. I didn't realize how goated UlForceVeedramon was. I think I did at one point, but then I just moved past it. But yeah, this Digimon is goated. If I'm not mistaken, like I didn't play whatever Cyber Stranger or whatever it was. Not Cyber Stranger, whatever the big Digimon game before this was. But if I'm not mistaken, UlForceVeedramon was like the best Digimon in that game because of some ability it had. It seems like it's really good in this game too. I don't think it's the best Digimon in this game, but it's really good. Alright, Veradurumon, I think S tier automatically. Yeah. S tier automatically. Status abnormality immunity is really neat. Is really, really nice. Evil remove stat buffs on enemy. Oh, S tier. Yeah, this is S tier. Even if it's doesn't really have a good attack move, this level of support is just absurd. It's just absurd, yo. It's better. I would argue it's better than Baldurmon. Yeah, this is just absurd. Yeah, this is just good. There's nothing to really talk about here. It's really good. like debuffing the enemy, increase damage to evil, so it's super effective against the final boss, even though it's only power 55. And then buffing your allies so that you not only buffing your allies, but removing any status abnormalities on top of applying immunity. That's so crucial, because status abnormalities can be ruining your game. Do you have to kind of give up a Digimon slot in order to make that happen? Yes, but this also removes stat buffs from the enemy. This is such a really good move. This is underrated. Like, yeah, this is underrated. Yeah, this is really good. S tier, S tier. So that was an S tier. This is an S tier. I've had a lot of S tiers. The megas are showing out harder than the mega pluses, because did I say S tier on this one too, or did I say A tier? I think I said A tier. I think I said high A tier, B tier, S tier, S tier. S tier for KaiserGreymon as well. And then the only D tier so far has been MagnaGarurumon. Alright, Venusmon, S tier. Oh, yeah, we don't have to discuss this, do we? I don't think we really have to discuss this. Venusmon is S tier. We don't have to discuss this. If there's a reason that every guide, and I haven't played any of the other people's videos, but whenever you look at their thumbnails and like, we're the best Digimon in the game, Venusmon is on there, and it's obvious. Love You is super good. Peace Fantasia is super good. It's just like Durandamon. It's just a really good support Digimon. Yeah. There's nothing to really talk about here. S tier. WarGreymon. Alright, ever since I found out Black WarGreymon is better, I look at this one kind of fugazi now. So how do I feel about WarGreymon here? Terraforcing Great Tornado, huh? So this is a good move. This could have been a better move. Vegetation is such a trash thing to hit. But Dragon's always good. Super effective against the final boss. 50% crit rate at 30/3. Really good move. Okay, let's see. Wait, does its groin piece have a hinge now? It just swings back freely? That's funny. That's funny to me. I don't even know. I don't even know why that caught my eye. I was just like, wait, what is going on there? Why is it just swaying back and forth? It is swaying back and forth independently. That's funny. Pause though, but still, I gotta say that as a person from that culture, I gotta say pause. But that's crazy. Yeah, I liked it better before I found out Black WarGreymon was better. I still think it's a good Digimon. It definitely made my null team, so it can't be less than a B tier. But finding out that Black WarGreymon is just so much better means that I can't give it A tier, I don't think. It has to be B tier. So WarGreymon for B tier. Ouryumon. Oh, that is a good move. So I never use it because I went straight to Alphamon or Yukin. But 90 power, 10% crit rate, which isn't that much crit. It's only 5% extra crit than normal. Nullifies unfavorable, which is a really good trait to have. And then increase damage to target with dragons, which is a super good trait to have. The only one that's better is Deity. Yeah. 90 Bob. That shoot. What is it? A vaccine? Oh, and then it gets a whole nother type of move. So it gets two skills. One skill is it's steel type. Hits all enemies AoE skill. Increased damage to most is stupid. Like we're not worried about what is it? Not Black King Hououmon, the other one, Platinum Hououmon, that bad. But it hits all enemies, power 60. But yeah, that's good. The move isn't good, but having an extra move with all AoE and still is a good type to have. That's good. This is the A tier. 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 Shoot. This is at least an A tier. It might be high A tier. Yeah, it's A tier. So. Alright, Eden's Javelin. Ophanimon now, okay. If target is a virus, 75% of its 15% reduction. Yeah. Int or attack for 3 turns. Increase damage to target with a mortal trait. I don't even know why it's not just 100%. That's just it's a downside. It's not a downside. The effect itself isn't a downside, but the fact that it's a 75% chance is just... Now I can't even trust that this is going to happen. Neither of these two traits is... Immortal and Spirit are irrelevant. 10% crit is irrelevant. 9/10 is actually bad. So, here's the thing about damage in this game. The calculation is like... Well... No, actually, no. What I was about to explain is wrong. Disregard what I was about to explain. It works. It still works, I think. 9/10 is 90 with crit. Barely, with a slightly increased crit rate. But it is 10 hits. So, it's more often triggered. One enemy for... Both of these are single target, and both of these are... I want to say this is C tier. It's definitely a C tier, unfortunately. Yeah, this move has downside. Both of these moves just aren't great. Neither of these moves are great, and they're both the worst type to be, which is holy. So we're just going to move forward. Like, you can use this against the 7 Demon Lords, but you can also have Mega Pluses by that point, so why even bother? You can't safely use her against... so the one place you'd probably want to use her is against... what's her name? Junomon. And even against Junomon, like, you can't safely use her because Junomon can use Dark skills. And she can hit for a lot. Now, granted, you can get that Eden's Javelin, reduce her skills, but that's a 1 in 4 chance of missing. I don't think the Olympus 12 have Immortal as a trait. I don't think they do. So it's... Yeah, there's no real upside to her. Yeah, she's C tier. I'm saying C tier because she's not awful. Like, she's not... Like, she makes sense. Like, she does a thing. But she's just not good. She's just not average. ClavisAngemon, I think this is another C tier. This actually works really well in the final fight against the... Alright, so this actually is like super good against the DLC 1 final boss. Because they're constantly getting buffed during that fight, all 3 of them. And then this is super effective against Unknown Trait. And it's a light attack coming from a vaccine, which makes it hyper effective against the boss itself. So for that one particular thing, this is a really, really good Digimon. Otherwise... Let's see, it's weak to Dark and it's weak to Null. I can't name too many other spots where it's doing anything of value. Keeping it real. Keeping it a stack, I can't name too many other spots where it's actually working. So, with that in mind, C tier, maybe D tier. It does a better job. It has a purpose. Like, I can look at this thing and say, against one very difficult boss, this thing goes hard. I cannot say that for Ophanimon. That makes me almost want to bring it up to B tier. I can't say D tier. I can't put it below Ophanimon. Because, unlike Ophanimon, it actually has something it does. I might have to put Ophanimon in D tier to justify this being C tier. Because Ophanimon was my first C tier. And D tier really belongs to Digimon that aren't good in any any case. Yeah, I'm gonna put Ophanimon in D tier. This goes to C tier. This has one case where it's good. And I know I said Alphamon has. So I know I said Alphamon, blah blah blah, but Alphamon had more than one case where it was good. It's just that you would typically evolve it by the time it gets to that point. But you can still use Alphamon against the Royal Knights and against other things at that point. Whereas ClavisAngemon doesn't need to evolve, but it also only has that one fight that it's good in. Whereas Alphamon has a myriad of fights that it's good in. It's just that you would typically evolve it by that point. Alphamon's problem is that it doesn't get good into the Junomon fight, and then it's really good at everything. Whereas ClavisAngemon literally only has one good fight. That's why Alphamon deserves to be B tier, while ClavisAngemon gets C tier, and Ophanimon, which is good at nothing, gets D tier. I like that. I like that. I like how I broke it down there. So that's how we're going to keep breaking it down. Craniamon. Alright, regular Craniamon. We got Waltz's End. Alright, we get two skills here, by the way. So, still magic attack, 60 damage against all enemies, which is okay. If and the target is already active. So this is like the one time. I think there are two skills that do that, where if the enemy's already active, then you get extra damage. It's this one, and I think Leopardmon also has one of those skills. That's why follow-up is such an unused skill, because, like, first of all, you're evolving Craniamon normally, but okay, you get increased damage, so probably 50% extra damage, I would imagine. That's normally the extra damage. Increased damage to targets with evil trait is good. That means it's super effective against the final boss. But again, you can evolve this before the final boss. But it's worth noting that it hits all enemies. You can delay it. It could actually hit really hard because you can use follow up. Or you could just never level at speed. Breath of the Gods, nullify all physical and magic damage, which is cool. If you give it the counter skill instead of follow up, it can use that and spam that pretty well. How do I feel about it altogether? Honestly, because I've never used it for this purpose, I just don't know. I feel like I need to train one and try it out. I'd probably train it with counter instead of with follow up, because I think you could just train it along the slowest line. What's the slowest it could be? Let's see. It can only go backwards to Andromon, and then we're not worried about Andromon speed, but what's Guardiamon speed? 500. All right. What else can it come from? Nope, that's way too fast. Or Clockmon. I think Clockmon's gonna be faster too. Yeah, 570. So you can go from Guardiamon. I think the Rock Digimon's probably gonna be slower. Wow, it's faster than this evolution. What about Haguru? All right, so Hagurumon's actually slower. So if you started with, I imagine, if you started with Guardiamon, I guess. Yeah, if you started with Guardiamon, or yeah, if you start with Guardiamon, go to Andromon, and then go to Craniamon, you can get a really slow Digimon. You can actually just straight up evolve them with no bond. That'll probably be the best way to go about it. Just straight up evolve them with no bond. Plus, they're all devoted. That makes it really simple. Well, he's not devoted. What are you, friendly? Alright, so the devoted thing starts at Guardiamon. Yeah, you can start from Guardiamon, Andromon, and Craniamon. They're devoted. I think that's pretty decent Digimon. Honestly, it doesn't even want to be fast. Its top speed is freaking less than 2,000. So it's pretty easy to be slower than most things in the game. Although I think the final boss's speed is what, 22,000? Not 22,000, but 2,000 something, right? What's the final boss's speed? Because that's really the low ball that you have to beat. $21.80. Yeah, yeah. If you just never put any points into its speed, you can beat it. You can beat the final boss, or you can not beat the final boss, which is the point. Yeah. So give it counter. You can spam Breath of the Gods, spam Waltz's End. I think this could be a really good build. It's a really unique build. I like builds. This is one of the few Digimon that actually gets a scheme besides do more damage, so I like it. Uh, did I say what I would rate it? I can't really rate it. I don't know how to. I don't know how it plays. Right now, I'm tentatively rated at A, just because I feel like this would do a ton of damage. I'll tentatively rate it at A, but I don't know. The final boss is only one Digimon, so I don't want to go crazy with ratings. um, that said, I don't know if the seven demon lords are all evil. If they are evil, then maybe that bumps up its rating a little bit. Um, Also, I don't know how broken this is when you're spamming counter, so I would have to see both of those things. All right, Eaglemon. This thing ended up saving me during the Junomon fight, so I'm gonna be nice to it. Um, Kaiser Phoenix. One enemy, power 95, bird trait is absolutely irrelevant. And then all enemies, null magic at power 65, reduces spirit for 3 turns. Um, that allowed me to stack up some damage against Junomon, so that was nice. Um, how do I feel about this? It's resistant to, was it a vaccine? It's not good at all against Junomon. I guess you could. Uh, oh, that is the thing about Alphamon. You can gnome bug it. I guess the thing I wasn't playing. Okay, so with Alphamon, you can gnome bug it. All right, so it's not just straight up bad against Dianamon and so on and so forth. Like you could gnome bug it, and it could be better against those Digimon. So I wasn't really thinking all the way through it. You matter of fact, Alphamon could probably be A tier, just based off the fact that I wasn't even thinking about gnome bug. Anything else I rated that way? Um, Not really. Yeah, everything else. I was giving out pretty high ratings altogether, so I didn't really underrate anything, I don't think. Kaiser. Yeah, same thing with Eaglemon. If you give him a gnome bug, he can be really good against Dianamon. Um, what else? I don't think there's much else to say. He's just meh. There's not much going for him or against him. I've used him. That's why I know that this Mystic Break move is really good against what's her name. So like I was literally down to nothing. Like I was looking at all my options, and Eaglemon was the only one that worked at all against her. So I can't rate him below B tier because he saved me in the hardest fight of the game. So I'll have to rate him B tier. So he's B tier. Alright. Chronomon Holy Mode. He is a victim of being, alright. Unless you plan your game out perfectly, which means you kind of have to have spoiler knowledge of the game, you're not going to get him before actually beating the final boss. So he is a victim of availability, which will automatically basically rank him a D, because you don't even get to use him until the end of the game. Like, I guess you could say you get to use them for the DLC and against the Olympus 12. How does he fare against those guys? Um, Nullifying Unfavorable is always a good place to start. 110 nullifies Unfavorable. Holy Flare, all enemies. Power 85, move stat buffs. It's okay. Like, it's a good Digimon. It's just that you literally only get to use it against the DLC one and then the hardest fight in the game, which is the Olympus 12. But I would say it's good in both of those fights. Uh, it isn't a vaccine, so Chrome's Chop is going to do buku damage, and even if it didn't, it would nullify Unfavorable, which is good in general. It's got to be at least an A tier. Like, availability sucks, but once you have it, it's at least A tier. All enemies 85 is a lot of damage too, and removing stat buffs. I just wish there was more stuff to use it against. I guess if you're saying New Game Plus, if you include New Game Plus in the stuff you get to use it against, it's a lot better. At that point, it'd be hard not to rank it S tier. Yeah, because this is power 110 with upscaling, with upside. That nullifies Unfavorable is really good. That's a really good move. Power 85, all enemies is really freaking good, and removing stat buffs. Yeah, you know what? It's S tier. It's S tier. I can't really pretend it's not S tier. In the context of a New Game Plus, it's got to be S tier. If you think about just one save file without New Game Plusing, then no, it's definitely trash. Because you only get to use it in the final two fights so far. But if you New Game Plus, it's got to be S tier. Alright. Okay, a dark using vaccine. That's a rare one. Increased damage to holy trait, so Royal Knights don't like this guy. Nullifies Unfavorable, which is really good. Okay. This might be really... Motor trait doesn't do anything. Dark, that's A tier, I think. Against Royal Knights is really good. Being weak to dark is weird. That is really weird that it's weak to dark. But it resists lightning, which is a really good thing to resist. It's a vaccine, so being weak to dark isn't that bad because most dark things are going to be viruses. So it kind of just doesn't have a weakness besides ground, and ground isn't that common. Your biggest ground attack that you're going to take is Awesome Quake from Minervamon, excuse me. Yeah, no, this is a good Digimon. It's at least A tier. I wouldn't say S tier. Nullified Unfavorable is really good though. That's just really good. And then super effective against the Royal Knights is really good. That's a big part of the post game, getting past the Royal Knights. Dark is a really, really, really good element to have. Is this S tier? I'm about to like flood S tier at this point. I've been saying S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier. It feels like I'm flooding S tier at this point. I don't want to just straight up say this is S. This is A until proven otherwise. Like, this is a very high A. This is a very high A, probably low S. We'll leave it A, very high A, top of A tier until proven otherwise. Oh my god. Wait, does it learn safety? Guys, it learns safety guard. Okay, it's S tier. I just saw that. It learns safety guard. It's S tier. It's fine. It's fine. We're flooding S tier. It's fine. I almost had no S tiers in the Mega Pluses. And now I'm looking at the Megas and we're just S tier, S tier, S tier. We're just like, you know the meme with Leonardo DiCaprio making it rain off the boat, off the side of the yacht. Yeah, that's what we're doing. S tier, S tier, S tier. Everything S tier. This is going to be D tier though. Maybe not D tier. Spirit trait and evil trait. Evil trait is useful. Nullify is unfavorable. So it's got the same thing as the other one. With light being the worst element, having that nullify unfavorable is better on light than it is on dark. Spirit trait just doesn't do anything though. And same weaknesses, same resistances. It's just literally it trades light for dark. Here's my problem. Dark is the better element, and that's why I'm more comfortable. Dark is the better element, and he learns Safety Guard. That's why I'm more comfortable with him being S tier. Like, this is okay. Oh, also, Evil Trait is not as good as Holy Trait, because Evil Trait targets the final boss, sure, but Holy Trait targets all 12 or however many of the Holy Knights there are. So, Evil Trait is a significantly less good trait to target at this point in time, unless we get a lot more evil Digimon that are worth targeting. Like, yeah, sure, maybe, I don't even know if it targets the 7 Demon Lords. Keeping it real. I think they're demons. I don't think they're evil. Or they might be evil. We'll see. I have to go and check out their traits later on. Increase. And even if it did target Demon Lords, they're not that big of a deal. Like, none of the Demon Lords are as much of a threat as the Royal Knights. So with that said, this guy is just way less useful than his Dark counterpart. I want to say B tier. Like, he has things he can do. No Find Unfavorable is still a good thing. He doesn't have a double weakness. His weakness does make sense. Like, Dark, Vaccine, you're okay for the most part. You'll be fine. Ground isn't a big weakness to have. Like, all the things I was talking about before still apply. I think the basic Digimon is still a good Digimon, but swapping Holy for Evil kind of ruined it. And then swapping Light for Dark definitely ruined it, or Dark for Light. So, yeah, I'll say B tier. If that, but probably B tier. Alright, Goldramon. God Flame. All enemies. Power 55. Recovers users' HP and SP by 20% if targets KO'd. This skill is weird because it's just not going to get that many KOs with at only power 55. And so that's a very hard trigger to get. And then if target is KO'd, recovers user's HP SP by 20%. Right? 1/5. If you perform a very hard task, you get 1/5 of your health and SP back. And then it does increase damage to targets with Spirit trait, which again, who cares, because spirits don't really, like, what spirits are you fighting? Yeah. Alright, it's immune to light. I guess that's good for the Apollomon fight. It's super weak to dark though, so that's not good. That means that no matter what, you're going to have a hard time fighting Junomon, because if you use a known bug, then you're super weak to light instead of dark, and she uses light skills too. You're weak to null, that's not great. Everything uses null at the end of the game. Yeah, this Digimon, I think this Digimon has a few too many flaws. It might be D tier. It has the worst element, has a really bad trigger, has a really bad. It's high. It's high expectation, low reward. Like that's terrible. And on top of that, the skill itself is weak. In a game where you mostly fight bosses one on one, like yes, AOE's are important at the end of the game, but for the megas, I'm more so looking for AO, not for AOE's. I'm looking for single target skills more than AOE's because the megas have more chances to use single target skills against bosses. I'm talking about the Power Loader and Dr. Kuga, Dianamon, Apollomon, um, Junomon. You know, those are the big four that the megas have to deal with. Like you have to fight those with mega, and I'm not seeing I'm not seeing it here. I'm not feeling it here. So I might have to call this one D. It just doesn't have anything going for it. This is a D tier. ShineGreymon. One of your few actual Earth types. Cool. Geo Gray Sword is okay. I don't hate it. It's a free power buff. And then on top of that, you get this. Um, Pixie Trade is interesting. I don't think that's relevant to anything, but who cares? You still get the buff. Evil Trait. It's not an amazing Digimon. I would say it's better than its burst mode though. Its burst mode is absolute garbage. I think I ranked it D tier. This is more like a. This is probably a B tier. This is a B tier for sure. Like, it's absolutely necessary to run it on an Earth team because Earth gets nothing. It gets literally no type of support. But otherwise, it's a good Digimon. Like, I wouldn't say a great Digimon. It's a solid Digimon. It has two special skills, and those two special skills are of different types, and they're both okay. Let's see. It gets 3 resistances and only 2 weaknesses. It really does not want to fight Dianamon, but if you use a known bug, then it's good against her. On the flip side, if you don't use a known bug, then it's good against Apollomon, so that's cool. Um, and then it gets the ground resistance for the love of it. It has a straight up friendly matchup against Junomon. I would say it's actually, shoot, it's probably above B tier. Just looking at its matchups through that part of the game, it resists fire, which means that it just straight up beats all 4 of the main mega bosses. It beats the Power Loader, it beats Dianamon by known bugging, it beats Apollomon straight, and it beats Junomon straight. It's a good Digimon. Alright, I'll give it do we go A tier or S tier? And then after that, it beats the final boss pretty well. It probably does good damage. Again, I can't confirm this without going all the way back to the 7 Demon Lords and checking their traits, but I'm pretty sure. I think they probably have evil. They probably have evil. It at least has a decent matchup against them because it's a vaccine with a light move that hits all enemies. Um, is it S tier? I think S tier is overcalling it. It's clearly flawed in some ways, but it's just circumstantially really good. Uh, Based on the enemies you fight, this is a really good Digimon. So, A tier, A tier, A tier. Oh, this is an interesting Digimon. All right. So I should have been using this during the null because he has a power 105 attack that has increased damage against humanoid trait. If you know anything about the Olympus 12, they are all humanoids except for Grace Novamon. So that should have been on my team. So yeah, immediate A tier just based off the strength of that. And then that's not the only time you fight the Olympus 12. You fight 3 of them, right? And I think, yeah, you fight 3 of them during the mega phase. So you fight yeah, Dynamon, Apollomon, and Junomon. So this is a really good move against those three too. Um, again, he gets to use a known bug against Durandamon. That's cool. This is a weird move. Random. I don't like random. It's random, and then the traits don't even matter. It's one that nullifies unfavorable compatibility, which is really weird. 20% crit rate is okay. The random power 105 electricity that has no upside annoys me. I wish it rotated instead of being random, but it's okay for it to be random. But if they're going to make it random, then at least make it so that the third one has an upside like the other two. Like 20% crit is a really high upside. Nullifying unfavorability is a really high upside. I don't know what the third upside could be, but give it an upside. Give it something that does. Yeah. What do I don't think this is S tier. Definitely not S tier. I think this is another A tier. This is probably just another A tier. It's really hard because it only has one move that I can really believe in, but that one move is probably one of the best moves for the final fight in the game. High B, low A. High B, low A. It's just that it has one fight that's really good in. Uh, or I guess I can't say one fight. It does have the other Olympus 12 fights as well. Uh, but yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll give it A tier. Justimon's an A tier. You heard it here. All enemies, no physical, power 70. Only one move. Vaccine, weak to light. Vaccine weak to light is interesting. It does not buy any type of. It doesn't want to fight Apollomon. It doesn't want to fight Junimon either. It can't gnome bug through that. It doesn't want to fight Power Loader. It doesn't want to fight Durandamon either. It doesn't want to fight any of the four bosses during the Mega Phase. You could go up against Demon Lords fine. It's actually one of the best vaccines to go up against Demon Lords since it actually resists Dark. So it's not going to take neutral damage. It's going to actually resist the hell out of that. So it has a rough start, but it has a niche. Yeah, a vaccine that resists Dark is a niche. Again, the Demon Lords are not a big threat. The DLC boss is another one that is a dark virus that you can resist. And it's not weak to null, so that means whenever he uses a dark attack, you resist it. Whenever he uses null, you still resist it by being a vaccine. But you're not taking extra damage from it. There are spots for this. I just don't think there are many spots for it. Other viruses worth talking about. Lord Nightmon uses fire, so you can't safely fight against that. Gallantmon uses light. You definitely can't fight against that. It's literally just it's an interesting Digimon. It has its niche. I think in a follow-up playthrough, it has more niches because you get to fight more viruses. Especially if you go Mega Plus, this could probably be a really good Digimon. I just don't think at the end of the game it's a really good Digimon. It has a spot where it's useful, but yeah, it's kind of held back by its weird resistance lineup, and then only having one move. That's Null is a good type to be. Power 70 isn't bad for AoE. I think this is just a B tier altogether. Like, it's not terrible, it's not great. It can do things, but it doesn't do great things. It's got a niche that only it fills. Like, this is just B tier, honestly. B tier. Alright, GuardiAngemon. Oh, 10% crit just hurts. They should have just left that off. See, when I see 10% crit, I automatically dock the move points instead of, if they didn't even add the 10% crit, I would have been like, okay, it's just a move. Oh. Ah, yeah, I automatically just start docking points whenever I see 10% crit. That's a really bad upside. 50% injury, increased damage to evil. That's okay. Again, like, eh. All right, so let's look at the facts here. The facts are, it's a vaccine with two different skills. One of them is holy, one of them is steel. Steel's a good type to be. 90 damage is okay. One enemy is meh. 10% crit rate is ugh. The other one is also one enemy, so that's a mark down. But it is an extra skill, so that's a mark up. Again, 90 damage. 50% chance to apply injury is okay. Again, that's relevant sometimes. The increased damage to evil is okay. I think this is B tier. It doesn't do all that much. Like, it's an okay lineup. It's not amazing. Alright, Kentarosmon. So, Bifrost. One enemy. Physical fire attack, a 95. Increased damage against evil. Okay, good single target attack. Odin's Breath. Ice. Oh, AoE, ice. Reduce ice resistance. Okay, he's S tier. Yeah, anytime you reduced all enemies' resistance to an element, you're automatically S tier. Because you're on. He's 1000% necessary for any ice team. You have to play him, so that makes him centralizing to the game. You have to play him, and then on top of that, he gets a really strong fire skill that's anti-evil, so it's good against the final boss. It's just really good in two different ways. Two different elements too, so that's good to have. I can't really mark him down for anything. The only thing I'll really mark him down for, evolving into him sucks, because getting from Kutamon to Repamon to Chironmon to Kentarosmon is just painful. Those level up stats requirements are always painful. So let me go back. Let's look at what it takes. So this is a pretty high stat line. Like, look at some of these other stat lines and look at this one. Like, this is a really high stat line. Again, a really high stat line. Attack and speed. This one isn't as bad, I'll say. Kentarosmon isn't as bad. And by the time you get to this point, you'll probably be more adept at using the farm. It definitely took me a while to get used to it. But yeah, evolving into Kentarosmon was painful. So that's just worth talking about. Like I said, this is probably going to take 2 hours, maybe even 3, to go through all of the megas. So just bear with me if you want to. But yeah, S tier. I know I've been saying everything is S tier roughly, but this is actually like undebatably S tier. Slayerdramon. Okay. Another vaccine, 3 fire attacks. Oh, yeah, yeah. This is besides Leopardmon and the other one I mentioned earlier, Craniamon. This is another one that has an attack where if you have it moved, it does extra damage. So that's kind of cool. Um, but more so than that, I ended up using a lot of Koryu Slash because of the lowering of defense. I like that more. Increased damage. All of them are anti-dragon, so there's no point in really mentioning the trait. It's just what the skills do. This can hit all enemies. Um, so that's kind of like it's actually extremely similar um, to Craniamon's move, where it hits all enemies with 60 damage. This hits all enemies with 55 with increased damage if they've already acted. So that's cool. Um, and then if you move first, you can get extra crit rate. 25% crit rate is a really good upside, especially at power 90. That's a lot of, especially if you're using Haymaker or Crimson Dragon or Thunder Gods, or what is it? The Thunder Gods Thunderbolt, Lightning Gods Thunderbolt, whatever the item's called. Yeah, this can be a really good move if you're just going straight for the attack. But if you want to use the AoE attack, this could be really good too. Follow up could be really good with this. Yeah, I think it has more of an issue than Craniamon with getting to be that slow. Yeah, because it wants to be at least 2437, so it's not going to be slower than the final boss at level at level 99. So it might not be. You might need to use follow up if you want to use this attack often, which I don't think it's worthwhile because you have 2 other really good moves. So why would you always move last if you can just move first? Seraphimon. Oh, I didn't even rank it. All right. So it's weak to water, weak to I don't even know what to call it. I don't want to call it A tier. It can be A tier though. It has a lot of interesting stuff going for it. I'll call it A tier. It might be B tier though. All right, Seraphimon. All right, light attack 13. Oh, thankfully it's not double weak to dark. That would have been rough. Increased damage to target evil. Then Testament, we know what that does. Basically nuke. And anti-deity, which is okay. So deity is actually the best thing to target in the game. As somebody who has used the Testament nuke myself, I have I have I have experience with using the Testament nukes. Okay, I have experience with this. Um, I don't think I could rate it S tier. It has to be A tier. It's a really good move if you build around it. It's a really, really good move. Most bosses in this game are just so tanky that running Testament is not going to one-shot them no matter what you do. Which means that once you use it, not only do you one-shot yourself, not all your Digimon, just this one, but it's out of SP, which means even if you revive it, it's still out of SP. So now you gotta either you can run Rally Blessing to revive it instantaneously at half health, or you can run Soothing Song, But either way, you're in a rough spot. Um, let's not let that go unknown. Like, you're in a really rough spot. Um, all those things considered, I don't think it's average. It's above average. A tier, A tier, A tier with an asterisk. It's rough. It's rough. You have to build around it. You have to know exactly what you're doing. You're you're not normally running Testament to win a fight. You're running Testament for style points. Like, if you're running Testament competently and winning the fight with it, you could have probably already beat the boss a different way. You just did that to flex. MagnaGarurumon, another Digimon I never used. Alright, so how do we feel about this? Burst shot, all enemies, one enemy. Okay, so at least it gets AoE and regular. Wow, immobilized next turn for only power 110, and then increased damage to targets with vegetation trait. Okay. And mineral trait is also useless. At least it's 96 power. One enemy. Resists fire. It's a vaccine. You can reverse it against Durandamon and do really well. You can use it against Power Loader. It actually resists both Power Loaders. Both the Power Loaders elements. It doesn't have any weakness against Chronomon. It's okay. If you want to use it as a fire user, it's okay. But that, if you ever use AoE, it's just straight up downside at that point. But I think it's good for an entry level mega. I'll call it a B tier. It has places where it can be used clearly and places where it shouldn't be used clearly. But as long as you're using it the way you're supposed to use it, there's nothing really wrong with it. Besides burst shot, giving you immobilization. Alright. Durandamon. Alright. Gratuitous German. Zweiglanz? I hope that I pronounced that correctly. Still physical attack at power 90. 20% crit rate is big deal. Increased damage to knights is a big deal. Oh wow, I didn't realize I was that good. I just never used Durandamon because I hated it because it seems just so freaking generic. But that is actually a really good move against the Royal Knights. So let's start there. That's good. Okay. So 20% crit rate and increased damage to targets with the Knight trait. Cool. Alright. And again, Knight trait. This time all enemies. That's not as good because you never fight more than one Royal Knight at a time. And it's still steel. So it's actually almost exactly the same as the previous attack. So the only thing is that it's AoE now. 15 by 4. So 60. This guy literally exists to fight the Royal Knights and nothing else, honestly. I'm gonna keep it like that. Like, he doesn't do anything else except fight the Royal Knights. Yeah. And that therein comes like he's really good in one fight, but okay. Not really one fight, but one situation. That is a massive thing to be able to fight against, I would say. That is an important thing to be able to fight against. However, most of the really threatening Royal Knights are vaccines. He's also a vaccine, which means if he was a virus, then he'd actually be off better because then he could use known bug. If it was that, he'd be way off better. But being a vaccine means he can't really do anything to affect change against Omnimon and against... I think Omnimon's actually weak to steel. But against... wait, which one's weak to steel? No, Alphamon's weak to steel. Against Alphamon and against other things that might resist steel, but he can't really get a bigger upper hand against him. I'm gonna say he's B class. I don't think he's all that good. I think in practice he would fall apart, even in the one situation he's meant for, which is the Royal Knights. All right, an Olympus 12 member. He's S class by necessity because of Wave of Death, and then he gets a speed based extra good skill. This attack has a ton of upside. Power 90. I mean, let's call space space. This is really good. Water resistance. Yeah. Yeah. No, this is just really. Yeah. I mean, we already said S class by necessity. Wave of Death is just really good. Oh my gosh. This thing has one fight it can be good in. That sucks. I guess if you restart the game, you can run through Factorial Town, causing havoc. But realistically, yeah, this thing has one fight it's good in. Yeah, there's not really much to say here. D tier? No, it can't be D tier. It has one fight it's good in. C tier. By the way, I was talking about Power Loader when I was saying it has one fight it's good in. BAN-TYO Leomon. Thing you move through to get to Chaosdramon, or to both Chaosmons. Line Slash. Oh man, I really like that skill. Oh, actually, I think BAN-TYO Leomon might just straight up be better than. So I was saying Chaosdramon Valor Arm is kind of trash. Compared to both of its components. Like, Baldurmon is S tier. This is looking kind of S tier. I'm gonna keep it real. Like, Line Slash is really good against Jupitermon, WM, Wrath Mode, and Mervamon, and yeah. I gotta see how much damage that would do. I might be able to just straight one-shot Mervamon with no buffs. Light and Fire. The Lord uses HP. Again, you can use this with Steadfast Might. That can get really scary, actually, with Steadfast Might. I think this is just a really good Digimon. This is a scary Digimon, realistically. This is just a scary Digimon. Do I say S tier? This just has such a good. Both these skills just have massive upsides. I'm gonna say S tier. High A tier. High A tier. I don't want to just throw out S tier. This is high A tier. It's situational. There are spots where it's really good. High A tier. But yeah, against Beelzemon Blast Mode, Belphimon Rage Mode. Yeah, what's the third one? Lucemon, Satan Mode. I don't think the Chronomon you fight at the end of the game is a Mega Plus. But you got three separate Mega Pluses that show up during the Olympus 12 fight, including 2 that are humanoids. But yeah, this just starts beasting at the end of the game, realistically. Oh, and then on top of that, if you use a known bug, this gets really good against Durandamon. And I would say also, if you use a known bug, this is also really good against Apollomon. On top of that, it takes extra damage from Apollomon's attacks, but its fire attacks are going to do massive damage against Apollomon. Like, yeah. This is a man, I might have to say S tier, honestly. The more I talk, the more it's just like S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier. It's S tier, guys. Like, I can't name a fight that it's bad in besides maybe the Power Loader. But then again, it resists fire, so it's not bad in that fight. Yeah. and it's still a good Digimon. It's not weak to light or dark, so it's good against what's her name? Not Minervamon. What's her name? I keep forgetting. Junimon without using any known bug. Like yeah, it's just a good Digimon, and it has a light move, which makes her even. Yeah, no, S tier, S tier, S tier. Let's call spade a spade. I didn't want it to be S tier, but I just kept talking and it turned into S tier. I just kept talking and it turned to S tier. I need to unevolve my Valder arm because it's not as good as just having BAN-TYO Leomon and Valdermon. Alright, HeraklesKabuterimon. The little bro of the family, huh? Target is a virus, 50% chance to apply mobilization. Yeah, good luck with that against the boss. Increased damage to targets with machine trait is good against Power Loader. One enemy at power 95 is good. I don't think there's much else to say here. There's nothing crazy about this Digimon. It's weak to fire. That's not great. It's weak to electricity. That's also not great. Can you immobilize freaking Junimon? If you can't immobilize Junimon, this thing is kind of dumb. But otherwise, it's good. Oh, what was I going to call it? I don't think I like this Digimon. I couldn't name any. I can't really name any. I can't really name any fight is good in. That's my problem. Right now, I can't name any fight is good in, and because I can't do that, I'm gonna have to call it D tier. All right, Phoenixmon, Starlight Explosion. Because why can't you get a fire move? All enemies power 70 is okay. I'm trying to figure out what it's supposed to be used against. I wouldn't want to use it against anything, honestly. Yeah. It doesn't even have any upside to its skill. It only gets one skill. Skill's at AoE, which is okay. Power 70 is a... Spirit trait is useless. Yeah, I think this is another D tier. I don't think this does anything. MagnaGarurumon, Fire Tornado. What was the other one? God Tornado? Godramon's one was God Tornado or something like that. Oh, God Flame. Alright. Alright, Fire Tornado. One enemy, power 90. Reduces light resistance, increases targets. Oh, well, I mean, this is basically the designated final boss killer. Just does a whole bunch of stuff to kill a final boss. Well, then again, you already have Aoki. The other thing about Holy, like, I can't make this an automatic S, number one, because it's not an AoE. Number two, because you already get Aoki'smon Holy, which does that same exact effect. And it does it better. Plus, this is her only attack. And it has a double weakness. Ugh. That means you can't use it against Junimon very well. Yeah. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it with this one. I don't think this one's good. Like, you could use this. So, since you don't get Aoki'smon Holy until you already reach the Akashic Records, you could technically use this against Junimon in that fight in order to make her easier. So, let's not throw her off. Let's not say she's useless. Like, you could use her against that fight. But she just takes so much damage from Dark. You would have to give her a Dark Guard, I think. If you even have it at that point. Um, Fire Tornado. Um, yeah, I'll say C tier. She can be used in one specific fight, just that one. I guess you could use her in the Power Loader fight too if you want to, because she's not weak to fire or electric. Um, and yeah, you can use her in that fight too. Yeah, it's just rough. I mean, she's not weak to ice or fire. You can use her throughout the entirety of the of the cosmics. Although the Rise Greymons, I think, are going to have a little bit of light resistance. Yeah, I'll say C tier. She's not that useless. Justimon. Okay, so three different skills. Um, Anti-Holy is really good. All enemies is a weird choice there. Um, Anti-Holy, Nullify and Unfavorable is stupid good. Alright, so here's your designated role Night Killer, by the way. um, then Anti-Evil is the final boss killer. And reducing light resistance again. Um, see, this, but just way better. Just way better. On top of that, she resists dark and holy. Okay, okay. That just makes her the designated Junimon killer. Okay, this might be S tier. This might just be S tier off rip. Like, not against the Olympus 12, but against every freaking thing else you can care about. I think this is S tier. Yeah. Um, S tier. It nullifies, it reduces resistance. This, and then it has an AoE. So yeah, this just has all three things. Unfortunately, not as one move, as three different moves. But then again, it has three different what you call it, three different elements, which is a really good lineup for special skills. ReAngemon, I think that's S tier by nature. Yeah. Remove stats, abnormalities, disease, and yeah, no, that's S tier off rip. Um, the only thing is, it's not as good as Venusmon because it doesn't get another move like her Peace Fantasia where she gets to debuff the enemy, which is okay. You don't normally use Venusmon for Peace Fantasia, but it's just a great bonus to have. If she doesn't have to heal that turn, you get to just like, okay, let me debuff you. But it's still really good. Like removing all stats abnormalities. Um, if you're not going to use Durandamon, this is really good to help with that, especially if you want to avoid injury and disease. So cool. Yeah, S tier by nature. All right, so this is similar to Ebimon, where planetary destruction is like the greater your buffs, the greater the damage type deal. So, yeah. Um, Based on that, I think this has to be S tier by nature. Oh, and yeah, and it gets unfavorable. Yeah, S tier by nature. I didn't use this at all. I used this evolution. I didn't get to use it. I think this works with booing though. I think this works with booing. Oh, at least the reduction in defense would work. Evil trait only informs the final boss. Which again, you don't get to unlock this Digimon unless you're already basically beating the final boss. You've already beaten it. And then you go do all the side quests and you'll just have barely enough points to unlock this Digimon. And you have to do that in a very specific order or you don't get to do it before beating the final boss. So, If the target's generation is lesser than user's increased damage, yeah, at least it knows that's supposed to be used for New Game Plus. Let's start there. um, One enemy, all enemies. I think this thing just crushes the beginning of New Game Plus. Like, up until things start being megas, you just do a ton of damage. Um, Based on that, probably S tier for that. It does get to evolve again, so yeah. I already ranked this evolution in the previous video, so man, I think S tier is fine for this. It's an S tier with the asterisk that you're using it in the next playthrough. If you try to use it against the Olympus 12, it doesn't do anything. You try to use it, you can use it against the final boss, but it's only power 55, so why would you bother? Yeah, it's mainly the asterisk is you get to use it against everything in New Game Plus and do ridiculous damage. Alright, Ravemon, regular mode. Alright, so AoE 55, electric, and then wind. Bird trait is relevant. 90 damage, right? Yeah. It's a good Digimon. I would say B tier. All enemies. Alright, so this only hits one enemy with resistance. This is your setter for wind. Unfortunately, it doesn't get to set more than one Digimon at once, so that means it's not an automatic S tier. However, I still think it's A tier. Because, yeah. Based on my experience, Ultimate Quake on the Earth team was just crucial to knocking out the Olympus 12. It is really good in that fight. And then on the Wind team, using Ultimate Blast, especially with its ability to knock out humanoids and increase damage against humanoids, super crucial. So I would say both these skills, this is just like the designated Olympus 12 killer. And that is a really good thing to be. If you are the designated Olympus 12 killer, you're just a really good Digimon, probably. Humanoids are also including the Olympus 12 earlier in the game, so when you're talking about Durandamon or Apollomon during the Cosmics or Junomon Wrath mode, he's also good against that. Yeah. Ah. Yeah. What did I say? S tier? No, I say A tier. Um, Volcanismon. 100 damage with no drawback is cool. Olympus 12 member, so it gets that. Anything other than that's actually pretty interesting. It gets to do extra damage against everything except the final boss. Because the final boss is the only thing with like no data besides in training Digimon. So was that power basically power 120 by default almost, right? No, and then still it's a really good skill. It's a really good Digimon, I think. I think this is probably underrated, It might be. It's probably A tier. It's A tier, I think. I want to call it just B tier because like both these are 100 damage attacks, basically. Like, yeah. Like this is 120 against almost everything, and this is 100 against everything. So, and it's immune to steel, which is a good immunity to have. It's resistant to fire, that's a good resistance to have. No, it's not a great weakness to have. Ground is an okay weakness to have. But yeah. And then data is a good type to be at the end of the game. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's A tier. Table flip is stupidly good. Yeah. What are we talking about? Table flip is great. Um, is this S tier just by nature of being the only Digimon with table flip? It might be. And then humanoid. Ooh, that's really good. How did I not see that before? Humanoid? I did not see that. I should have been tracking that. I should have been using that on my fire team. Yeah, this is just a really stupidly good Digimon. Hold up. S tier. Yeah. Good for it. Alright, a dark data. However, it's weak to dark and resistant to light. Interesting. All enemies remove stat debuffs. Power 55. Interesting. Power 90. 25% crit rate. Vegetation is such a weird thing. Does it remove stat debuffs from the enemies? If it does that, that's trash. %25 crit rate is really good though. I like that. Yeah, I'd say B. So here's the thing. Being dark is good. Being dark is really good. But neither of its skills is really all that great. And I've put some things in B tier that are just way more powerful than this. I think I want more out of it, my B tiers than this. So I'm gonna say. Also, I don't know what I would fight with this. I don't know what I would fight with this at all. Like, it's not a. Nah. That's the other thing about dark as an element. Yes, at the end of the game, it's really, really good. But before that point, a lot of things, almost everything you fight resists it. I guess you could fight Apollomon with this, and it would be really good. Yeah, you could fight Apollomon. You would not fight. I mean, if you know Bug, you could fight Genomon. That would just be an interesting fight. I think no Bug against Genomon. Her first, yeah, because she's immune to dark normally. Her first phase would be rocked by this. Yeah, I mean, this has a couple good fights actually. Not that I put more thought into it. Fighting against the what are they called? The 7 demon lords. With the gnome bug, you have a really strong upper hand against them. Not important fights to win, by the way. So, but it is an upside. The Royal Knights. Being data is good for that, and a lot of them do have weaknesses to dark, or they're at least not resistant to it. So that's a good upside to have. And a lot of them are vaccine. It's got some stuff it can do. I still don't want to give it A tier. I'm not going to give it C tier though. I'll give it B tier. I'll give it B tier. Oh, Ground Locomon, I want you to be so good, and you just weren't. Alright, Destruction Crush. Unknown trait. That's interesting, considering the only thing with an unknown trait is a virus. Uh, yeah. Um, I'll say it like this: 60 physical, all enemies is okay. Only one skill. I don't know what we're really using this against. Um, Resisting fire is okay, I guess, against Apollomon. It also resists ice for the other one. What's her name? Um, Durandamon. It's okay. It's okay. I don't think B tier is where it belongs. I think it can go to C tier. Um, yeah, yeah. It can go to C tier. It just doesn't get enough. What does this thing do? Nothing. 96 damage. One enemy. Data attribute. Weak to ice and metal. Alright, so since we're mostly talking about datas now, um, the biggest deal with data is taking out the Raw Knights and taking out Apollomon and then reversing them to take out Junomon. Eh, I'm not really enthused with this one. I'm gonna say D tier. I'm not seeing what this does. Oh, Ceresmon. Okay, cool. Yeah, S tier by nature. Burning Blood Shell, fire resistance down to everything, and then on top of that, it has all enemies chance to apply burning poison, and on top of that, it has all enemies chance to apply instant death. What are we talking about here? S tier, S tier, S tier. Still S tier. Um, Saber Leomon. All right, two different. This guy has two different elements. One physical attack, power 95, beast trait. No, all enemies, 50% chance to immobilize. It's okay. I don't like status abnormalities because almost none of them apply to the bosses, and that gets really frustrating when you just rather have stat down, because stat down applies to almost everything. And even better is stat up, because stat up always applies to yourself. But it doesn't fade off as quickly, because a boss that moves 3-4 times can just straight up wipe your stat down away. But if you buff yourself, you're not going to run out of that buff anytime soon. One physical attack at power 95, 55 AoE. I feel like this is the benchmark for what a B tier should be. Like, yes, I said it should have a few fights that it's good at to be B tier. But this has an AoE attack and a regular attack. It has two different elements. It's just a random Digimon. It is absolutely the average. I feel like it's B tier. I don't know what it's good against and not good against. I would imagine it has a fighting chance against Apollomon, just because it's a data. It doesn't have any interactions against Dianamon. It doesn't have any interactions against Junomon. Oh, I guess it's weak against her, so you can just use a known bug. Give it the advantage. Yeah, it's just a data. It's a random data Digimon. It's okay. It's B tier. All right. So the better Kazuhamon, but I don't know if that's actually true in this case. All right. So Azuna is now our crit skill. One is still freaking. So I think it was Illuminator, right? That did it before with the vegetation thing, and here it's just like 25% crit. Is that higher crit than before? I don't remember. No magic attack at power 90. That's really strong. Amethyst Mandala. All enemies remove stat buffs. So that's better, right? Remove stat buffs. Um, that said, is it actually better than Kazuhamon? So here's the thing about Kazuhamon. Kazuhamon has dark skills. And the thing about dark skills, and I guess let's be clear, Sakimon also learns dark skills. Like she learns them, right? Um, so it's not like she's stuck with just light. But you do have to add those as attachments. Whereas Kazuhamon gets to naturally spam her really strong dark crit skill against Junomon and against other things like Apollomon and such and so forth. I think I ended up calling Kazuhamon a B tier. I think that probably applies to Sakyamon as well. Uh, because Sakyamon does get two different elements, which is it's just better than Kazuhamon. But she gets a worse element, main element, which is Amethyst Holy. Um, yeah, I'll say it like that. I'll say they're both B tier. They're probably equals in this game. Justmon. Well, guys, yeah. So it's at least A tier with that. Like, are we serious? And then no physical attack. Whoa. 920 count. Whoa. Two different. Whoa. He's a data, which is interesting. So off rip, he's embarrassing Apollomon off rip. Um, he doesn't like the fight against Dianamon. No matter what you do with him, he has a bad time. Um, like you can try to give him a gnome bug, but then his fire attacks don't work against her as well as they should. Um, he really likes to fight against Parallel though with that Wild Guy Smooth. Um, I'm not sure how. I know this doesn't work if you give him a gnome bug against Junomon. I don't know how this works. Well, she uses mostly spells, so it's questionable. She's, but then once you get to a certain point in the game, especially when you start fighting the Royal Knights, this just gets so scary. This is just a really good ability. I almost want to call it S tier by necessity. Like anything that has that kind of power, especially going up against humanoids, which are the Olympus 12, it almost has to be S tier by necessity. Like just by nature. It's just that earlier, like when you first evolve Jesmon, he's just not going to be that great. But it's the fights at the end of the game that he really starts shining at. Um, it's another Alphamon situation where he gets better later then you get him. But unlike Alphamon, he doesn't evolve. So because he doesn't evolve, right, he doesn't turn into just my GX against my, like that wasn't added to the game yet, right? Okay. Because he doesn't evolve, um, it's easier to give him an S tier compared to when I was like, okay, Alphamon's probably going to be B tier. Um, okay, yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. All right, Jumbo Gambamon. I forgot to use that when I was making my order team. Nullify's Unfavorable is interesting on a Digimon like this. I would normally expect it to be on like super cool boss Digimon, not a Lego turtle. Mollusks again. 60 damage null, all enemies. So it's got two different elements, and it's got an AoE and a single target. It's got Unfavorable, which is really good. I think by necessity it has to be A. I think it's at least A tier by necessity. Null's a really good backup element to have. I don't like that it's weak to fire. That makes this fight against Apollomon harder than it should be. And that gives it a hard fight against the Power Loader. But if you use a known bug against the Power Loader, then you get to resist both fire and electric. Of course, you can use a known bug against what's her name? I forgot. But if you use that, then her weakness to dull goes away. So that's he doesn't get a good fight against her. Actually, never mind. Disregard that. He does not get a good fight against Junomon. Yeah, and he doesn't. He gets a meh fight against. So really, he just gets a okay fight against the first two, Apollomon and Power Loader, and then after that, yeah, there's not really much to talk about because it's all Demon Lords and Royal Knights and stuff like that. After that, um, I want. I think this is just another B tier. This is just another standard B tier. Yeah. He does all the things. He has a AoE attack that hits around 60 in one element, and he has a single target attack that hits at power 90 and yeah, in another element. Now this one does have upside. That is the one thing that I'm looking at, is that this one has upside. And that's why I'm just like, okay, that upside of unfavorable compatibility is a huge upside that is worth talking about, especially in the context of bosses. Um, yeah, he might be A tier. I would have to use him and figure out some of those interactions with this to figure out if he's an A tier, but I think he's an A tier at least. Well, no, excuse me. He's a B tier at least, might be A. High B. High B because of that unfavorable nullification. Alright, so, yeah. Great against mobs, not so great against bosses because how many bosses are weak to that? Not many. Um, Increased damage to humanoids is good though. Ice Magic at power 90, increased damage to humanoids is good. Uh, she evolves, but until she evolves, she gets a good matchup against. Well, it's tough to do because of her double weakness to fire, and the fact that you don't get a fire guard, you have to make your own. But she does get a good matchup against Apollomon. Um, and herself, she gets a great matchup against herself. Um, you just have to use your own fire moves and electric moves against her. Um, you don't use her against Power Loader unless you known bug her, and then you can known bug her again against Junomon. She's alright. Um, I would say B tier. Okay, Dynasmon. Interesting. I didn't realize his Dragon's Roar was a magic attack, so I was pumping attack and then I was using him in the null. I kind of should just redo the null video because I kind of screwed that up pretty big. Between Justimon and this guy, I kind of just screwed up that video pretty bad. I should just redo it. Um, yeah, evil trait, immobilize next. That's just a bad attack. Like, yeah, you can cancel out that defense drop, but being immobilized kind of sucks. Same thing goes for Dragon's Roar. If you don't actually get that to go, that's kind of sucky. And then Mythico doesn't do anything for you. That negating is really good though. It almost gets straight to S class just off the strength of that. Honestly, Power 115. It's just that, yeah, you really are at the enemy's mercy when it comes to actually landing that hit. Um, yeah, do we call it S? I think we call it S. It's fine. I think its alternative isn't good enough though. Unlike with Jesmon, let's call it A, high A, maybe low S. All right, Leopardmon, not straight S tier, right? Not straight S tier. But it's good. Um, I don't know what to really tell you. This is just a really flexible Digimon. It's at least at A tier. I don't know if it's straight to S because it doesn't really do anything that's just like excessively great, but it's okay. Um, all right, Goldramon. Um, I use this guy a lot. All right, I think we're at least halfway through the datas, and we're at least getting close to the 2 hour mark. So I'll cut it here. I'll try to do the rest of these megas another day, because wow, that this takes forever going through each and every single mega. I didn't realize just how much time it would take to get through all these. But yeah, all enemies, power 60, dragon trait, one enemy, power, yeah. It's a mega. Like I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, it's a mega. It worked out for me against Apollomon well enough. It was it had issues against Durandamon, I think. Uh, because and then um it didn't really want to use Gnome Bug against Genomon because it became weak to dark. It's Yeah, it's interesting. So Duragorumon, I'll leave off on that. I think that's another B class. It's interesting. It can go up against Power Loader and Apollomon fine, but the next two it has issues with. And then, of course, it's good against the final boss because it's a dragon killer, but still, meh. But that's where I'll leave it for today. So as always, I've been me. You've been awesome. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.